Nothing. Yeah, Brian
My name's Bern Manley.
Burnman. So
My name's Bern Manley, third generation Laurel resident. I'm not, I don't speak publicly a lot, so I just have a little bit to read. I've seen articles where state officials say concerns regarding facility security risks to the Laurel community are unfounded. Then they press on with their agenda. The definition of unfounded is an adjective describing claims, rumors, or feelings that lack a sound basis in fact, evidence, or reality. At the mt.gov website, there's a section titled The Importance of a Flexible Design, which basically says the state may expand or convert existing facilities to meet future needs. Does this mean we could actually see a prison somewhere on 114 city acres in the future? How can a complete and accurate security analysis, safety analysis of an undefined facility even be possible? DPHHS anticipates court-mandated stays to last approximately 3 to 6 months. I'm more concerned about some of the visitors than I am about escape. Visitors traveling freely to and from the facility with the same troubled history or tendencies as the patient they're visiting. I'm concerned about chance encounters with nearby West Elementary School children having consequences. Which rigorous facility security feature replaces the benefit of a 1 mile physical distance between it and the schoolyard? There is a notion that the required 1 mile minimum distance statute applies or doesn't apply depending on private or public ownership. This is both unthinkable and intolerable, considering safety prioritizes mitigation of risks, not legal loopholes. I strongly disagree that my objection to the proposed location of the facility is unfounded. In my reality, safety is governed by OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health, and MSHA, Mining Safety and Health. In my reality, anyone relentlessly pushing a double safety standard like this would be fired and the project relocated.
thank you for your comment. Elizabeth Shepard. I'm going to skip her on the list, but if you want to let her know, then she can come back. Miles Walton. Okay. Cynthia Fletcher Simmons. Simons. Okay.
I'm not much of a public speaker either, but we are Laurel and we are Montana. And in case the state doesn't know anything about our town, one of our most prized traditions each year, year to year to year, is our 4th of July celebration. The town and surrounding communities come out to celebrate our independence from England. And here we are, 250 years later, facing another tyrant, the state of Montana. You're trying to put a prison in the middle of a neighborhood, close to elementary school and 2 private schools and a daycare. This town cannot support what is already in place for our citizens and businesses, and now you are going to force us to support a prison within our midst in terms of emergency services, fire, and police. Like the tyrant of England, the state is making their own rules as this process goes along and not following state law and procedures. This facility belongs away from any town. It doesn't belong inside a town, near citizens, and near the most vulnerable, our children. Dan Villa, take your beer and your behind closed door meetings somewhere else. And Governor Gianforte, who I did vote for, you said you will not put this where it is not wanted. It is not wanted here. Be a man of your words. Thank you.
Do you have comments? Sure. Elizabeth Shepard.
Apologies in advance if the baby starts squawking.
I have 3 kids of my own. It's okay.
So, hello, I'm Elizabeth Shepard. I used to work at Yellowstone County Detention. I have first experience with the kind of people that they want to put in this facility. I am directly opposed to this facility being placed in our town. It could be harmful to our children. There's definitely been escapes from these types of facilities. There's been escapes from our own detention facility. It is not safe for our community. It is not safe for our children, and I do not want it here. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Did Miles Walton come in? Okay.
Good morning. My name is Miles Walton. I lived in Laurel now for 77 years. I was on the fire department for 26 years. I was on the council. I live across the street from the West School 419 8th Avenue. The problems that this siting is going to bring to Laurel as a community, cost-wise, just all around, the siting is just not what should happen. There's other sites, there's other towns that have asked for this. I don't know why you're looking at Laurel so forcefully when other towns want it and we do not. Something's not right. Something's definitely not right that it's being pushed onto this community. And I can't figure out what it is, but it should be stopped. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Mona Ray Atkins. Addicts.
It's Monterey Addicts.
Okay.
And I live at 102 8th Avenue in a townhouse just half a block from here. And I'm here to talk about what this facility will do to the price or value of your home. I'm a licensed Montana real estate broker, and I will tell you that the minute this information was announced by Kurt Markegard mid-December, I put my property up for sale. It took 5 months in order to obtain an offer. That offer came in 6% less than what market value should have been. 6 months earlier, one of the owners of a townhouse complex, same identical, cookie cutter identical, sold her unit and got $250,000. I only got $235,000. And as a licensed realtor, I had to disclose to the person purchasing that there is a proposed mental forensic hospital prison coming to Laurel. Whether it's going to happen or not, but it's proposed. So if you are to put your home up for sale, you're going to have to share that same information. And I will tell you, our property values will decline dramatically. Angela Klein Hughes, who is the president of our Realtor Association in the state of Montana, did an excellent report on this, and that information can be found on the Laurel Cared site. I recommend that everybody read it because your property values will decline, which means no taxation or less taxation to support our already deteriorating town. So I too voted for Governor Gianforte. I regret that decision, and basically he's a lame duck governor. He doesn't care. He isn't going to stand behind his word. So, but the citizens of Laurel will fight this to the end. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for your comment. We now go to Amber Zahn.
I wasn't expecting this kind of like an audience like setting. I feel like I'm back in school, so I'm sorry. And also, I was only prepared for 3 minutes because that's all we normally get. So I'm like, I just want everybody to talk. But so yeah, my name's Amber Zahn. I am a direct bordering resident to this. I do raise two small children at our home. And because I was only prepared for 3 minutes, I'm going to stick to it. But I do have a couple things I wanted to add to that now that I know that we have a little extra time. There is a gentleman in Laurel, and I can't remember his name, and I apologize for that, but he had one of the best quotes I've heard yet. And he's said it a couple times, but Laurel has worked really hard on branding us as the logos, the locomotives. Laurel This will kill that brand. We will be the state laughing stock. Like, it will kill us. I mean, this thing's gonna implode our city as it is, but that was huge. And raising children, I don't want my kids to be the logos. It's my 3 minutes, and I feel really bad because I cut so much about trying to stick to it. But thank you for being here. Truly, it's. I wish that it would have been done better, but I'm glad that somebody's here to hear us. So thank you. Thank you for letting us talk. I want to start by being clear that we are not asking you to not build this facility. We understand the need for it, and we fully support addressing that need. That's huge. What we are asking is that it be built in the right place and that the process to get there is done carefully and completely. Because this location is not appropriate. This site is surrounded by homes and schools, established neighborhoods where families already live. And there are studies that I've done a lot of research into. With that being said, that kind of, did the chicken come first or the egg? A lot of the cities and areas where these kinds of facilities really put a struggle or demand or really hurt the communities are the ones where they basically where we are. We've hit every part of that category. It will not do good for this. There are cities that benefit and do so well with these things. That it's just we unfortunately with the infrastructure, how we're already established, it just doesn't work for us. And for me, this is not exaggerated or abstract. Like I said, I live directly next to the proposed site, and I will see this from my home where I raise my small children every day. As Mana said, with that, one of our biggest fears is our property values. We have our whole life into this. We cannot afford to lose any of it, and it is a generational home, so it is very sentimental as well. We do understand that we are very fortunate to live where we do. I'm not trying to create fear, and I'm not speaking in hypotheticals. I'm describing the lived reality of what it means to place a facility like this in a residential area. Under ARM 37-106-1608, this type of facility requires a 12-foot no-climb security fencing and 2 of them, at least. That requirement does not match how this has been described publicly as a low to medium security facility, and this is what creates disconnect, distrust, and fear for the people who live here. Compatibility matters in siting decisions, and right now that compatibility just isn't there. There are also concerns about the site itself. This area has sandy soil and a high water table, meaning additional engineering is required just to build it there, which raises the concerns and the questions about whether public funds are being used efficiently, or whether we are forcing a site to work that was never ideal. And this is not just about today's footprint. The facility is designed for scalability, meaning it can expand over time. The question for the community is what that long-term expansion means in a location surrounded by homes and schools, and how those impacts have been evaluated. Finally, concerns about the process. The public have been told that this is the preferred site, but there has not been a clearly presented range of alternatives or fully inclusive process that reflects the input from residents, all local officials, and emergency services that will be directly impacted, not just 2 people. For a project of this scale, process and local input is imperative. So again, this is not opposition to the facility itself. This is a request made in good faith for responsible siting, transparency about long-term impacts, and a process that fully considers the people who will live with this decision every day. This is a decision that will shape a community for decades. It deserves more care, more transparency, and a location that truly fits. The people who live here will carry the impact of this decision every day, and you have the opportunity to get this right, and that starts with choosing the right location. And I just want to add, this was a statement made by Dan Villa, August 20th, 2025. It's the end of a quote of why they took a pause in Billings. It says, if due diligence resumes upon receipt of written guidance, no previously reviewed sites, including those on Skyway Drive, are viable. Given local feedback, everybody here, infrastructure costs, our water, our emergency services, and more. Local zoning regulations, impacts on targeted economic development districts, and state land leasing process. If BOI is to engage further, our future work must begin with the clarity on services and citing from our partners while still meeting our obligations to secure profits and cost savings for Montanans. Hate to say it, Dan Villa. Fail. Thank you, though, again.
Thank you for your comments. Brian Luther.
Fletcher.
Fletcher. Correct. Sorry.
We'll keep it short and sweet. Just want to thank Dan Villa for coming. That was pretty cool. I just oppose this with all my heart. I live where Amber lives together. My two kids play 100 yards away from that, and they go to school right down the street. So they'd have to look at that in the evening and then go to school and be right by it again. There's no way around it. It's just completely insane that is where they want to put it to me. Like I said, I'll keep it short. I'm not a public speaker, but I oppose this with all my heart.
Thank you for your comment. Jennifer Lorenz. We keep creeping a little bit further back this way, and
Where do you want me to
so
go?
just anywhere over here. Just at some point, my screen keeps blocking it. I don't want to block you. There we go.
I'm also not much of a public speaker, but I just prepared a statement and I thought it'd be better said than I'd rather talk to you about it. Anyways, it says I'm here to express my opposition to the proposed mental health forensic facility because let's call it that. It's a forensic mental facility. It's not a behavioral health facility. I'm a veteran. I fully believe 100% in mental health. I wouldn't be here without mental health treatment. But this, to me, this doesn't belong here. And ensuring safe, secure facilities in need. And I have concerns about the sustainability of placing this type of facility in the Laurel community. First, Laurel lacks the infrastructure necessary to support a facility of this size and security level. Our transportation systems, emergency systems, utilities, and public safety. I have a copy of this for you, so you don't have to take a whole bunch of notes. Our emergency systems, utilities, and public safety resources are already working within limited capacity. The addition of a large forensic facility would increase demands on roads, law enforcement, fire services, and medical response systems. Without significant guaranteed infrastructure investments, this project risks overwhelming the local resources and compromising the safety and efficiency of essential services for residents. Second, there has also been a noticeable lack of transparency, which I'm sure you've heard about, throughout the planning and communication process. Residents of Laurel deserve clear, consistent information regarding site selection criteria, safety measures, long-term operational impacts, and financial responsibilities. Many community members feel that they have been left without meaningful opportunities to ask questions, provide input, or fully understand how this decision will affect their neighborhoods and daily lives. Public trust depends on open communication, and transparency has not been evident in this process. I'm also deeply concerned about the long-term impact the facility would have on the growth and development of Laurel. Laurel is a community with strong potential for residential expansion, business investment, and economic development. The placement of a forensic mental health facility in a growing area may discourage private investment, reduce property development opportunities, and create barriers to the city's long-term strategic growth policies. Thoughtful planning is necessary to ensure that Laurel remains an attractive place for families, businesses, and future development. I also would like to address just one small thing. Every time we talk to somebody from DPHHS, they tell us that we should be thankful that they're trying to bring employment opportunities to Laurel. And I think, sorry, I'm I got a lot, but I'm trying to be brief and nice. So, it says, while job creation is often cited as a benefit, jobs are not the issue in Laurel. Our community values responsible growth, and that's, I think, what Laurel Care does. If you look up what we mean, it's citizens advocating for responsible economic development, and that's really what we want here. And if you are going to bring this here, hopefully not in that area, but if you were still to bring it to Laurel, you have to you'd have to invest in the town first. You'd have to invest in new water. I mean, our water tower was built in 1968. We're old, and we're behind the developmental power curve, and our sewers can't handle it. I mean, like there's just such a larger impact. And while like I don't agree with how we were put into this position to be considered, we didn't do the work, per se. Like we didn't put a proposal together. We didn't look at the economic impact that would affect us. But other cities did, and they put the time in, they put the effort in to look at the impact, and we haven't done any of that. And so while we are scared, we're also know very, very passionately that this area is not that area is not for us. Like where that location you guys have selected is not a good fit for Laurel at all. Put it out by the dump. I'm not trying to, I mean, like put it. It doesn't belong anywhere near
Put it
in
out
the
west,
community. Yeah, or west. There's plenty of different locations. If you guys are gonna buy land, you don't have to buy that parcel. This whole this place or no place. Like Laurel's not gonna be bullied. And the thing is like, and if you're gonna do it by the book, because we're all a bunch of, we may look like we're just regular normal people, but there are several of us that have put in several hundred hours into this, to research. We're not just somebody talking out of our rear ends. We're sincerely serious, and we're also interested in trying to help develop a resolution that will suit you guys too. You know what I mean? Like it's not, the community will work with you if you work with us, but nobody has chosen to work with us, So, anyways. And if you have any questions, my contact information is at the bottom. And that was actually a statement I was going to do for the BOI at the hearing today. But I had 15 seconds and that was left of the hearing. So I was just going to give it to you both.
And I will, get enough screens.
Well, they're the same one.
The same one.
But this is the statement for today.
Okay.
That's, but I read part of the other one. So if you want me to give you the other copy of that one, would that be easier?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
There we go. Give me 1 second here to. Next is Brian Wibensky. Okay.
He's coming back. He had to work.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll reserve it.
Thank you.
Cheryl Hill.
Name is Cheryl Hill, 815 Fifth Avenue. I want to thank you for coming here. I'm just a little confused as to why Dan himself is scared to come to Laurel. So if he's watching, just like to, wonder why he's not here. He seems to be either scared or nervous to actually come to this beautiful community and actually have some really good conversations with us. So I'm going to start off that. But before, just like Jen, so I can be nice, I'm going to actually read this because it might be hard for me to be nice. I stand in firm opposition to the proposed forensic facility prison. It's not a hospital, it's a prison here in Laurel, Montana. This project, sorry, I got to take my glasses off. This project is being advanced in a location that directly conflicts with its intended use. This land was designed and designated for residential growth and community development, not for a state-run forensic facility like what is being proposed. The location is wrong for this type of project, and it does not align with the future of this community and what we have planned. That alone should be a reason enough to stop and reconsider. But the larger issue is how this has been handled. Montana law is clear. Under Article 2, Section 9 of the Montana Constitution, the public has the right to know, and under Article 2, Section 8, the right to participate. These rights are reinforced by the Montana Code, annotated 23201 and 23203, which requires public participation, proper notice, and transparency in decision-making. There is serious concerns that this process did not meet those standards. Specifically, there are questions about the coordination between the Board of Investment Leadership, Dan Villa, and city administration and the mayor occurring without full city council involvement and without clear legal oversight from the city attorney. If decisions or commitments were made outside of the properly noticed public meetings, then open meeting laws and due process may not have been followed. I actually think they weren't followed, but that matter becomes process matter. The public should not be left trying to figure out what happened after decisions had already been in motion. That is not transparency. That is not lawful process. And as a business owner here in this Laurel community, I am concerned about the long-term economic impact. The placement of this facility in the wrong location creates uncertainty of growth, affecting how our community is viewed, and risks slowing the investment that Laurel depends on. This community has spoken, and the opposition is very, very clear. So my request is simple and direct. Change the location, fix the process, and do right by Laurel. Pause this project, ensure full compliance with Montana law, involve the city council openly, include proper legal oversight, and engage the public in a real and transparent way from the beginning. If the process is not done right and the location isn't right, then this project isn't right for Laurel. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Gloria Alwyn?
Because otherwise I get too nervous.
No problem.
I married into a family who's been a Laurel for over 100 years, soon to be 5 generations. I myself have lived in Laurel for over 55 years and we raise our children here. It breaks my heart to see our quiet town being overrun by the state to build a forensic mental hospital or a prison right across our fence where our great-grandchildren play and where we enjoy the wildlife that comes through our property. Our town is in need of many repairs, and we already are already unable to fix our streets, build a new water tank to meet the needs of the new subdivisions growing just a few blocks from where this prison would be. Our volunteer fire and ambulance services are already strained, with the state not paying taxes on a property of 114 acres that could fit over 100 homes that pay taxes. We will be strained even further. The lack of transparency from the state of our city government is disappointing. We, the people, had no knowledge of what the state proposed until the buy-sell agreement was already made, and it was on the news that we found out what the state was doing. And I feel this whole project is underhandedly being pushed on us. I listened to the video when Dan Villa talked to the DPHHS regarding this property, and he compared this to Shodare Children's Hospital and the Billings Clinic Psych Ward. That is most disturbing because Shodare is for children with mental problems, and the Billings Clinic Psych Ward is not the same as housing insane prisoners who are incompetent to stand trial. No comparison, however, that is how it was presented to the DPHHS. There is not a prison or a psychiatric hospital that hasn't had an escapee, so there is no guarantee that one can't escape from here. When I was just 7 years old, a dangerous escapee from Canada crossed the border and came into our little town in northern Montana. I will never forget the fear we had as we were to shelter inside our house while they dragged the prisoner out of our garage. Had my sister not seen a flash of someone entering the garage, he could have not been caught and entered our house with our family inside. This still stays on my mind after all these years, and I shudder to think what this could do to our children if one would escape, and just having the type of people near our school in our homes. My husband and I are elderly, and we feel vulnerable at the thought of having this facility across our fence. This is tearing our town apart with the chaos and fear. It's caused a recall of our mayor and demands our CAO to step down for the lack of transparency and not doing their jobs properly while the state continues to push them. Our town will never be the same and we will keep fighting. I have lost respect for our governor who has turned his back on us, the DPHHS and the BOI for their disrespect for our city and our people, pushing their plans forward even when we have stood up for months saying we do not want this in our town. You can have this if you want it.
Thank you so much.
Good job, Laurel.
Dennis Alwyn?
Dennis Alwood, 185 Golf Course Road. My property's right across the fence from this forensic prison.
On the west side.
And
Same way these exist.
I have been in Laurel for 80 years and raised here, and I know a lot of people here. I've talked to a lot of people, and not one person that I've talked to wants this facility. Not one. And now I want to ask the question of the state, especially Dan Villa, because he seems to be the one pushing this. I understand that this prison would be on 114 acres and that the building that's going to be here is only about an acre. So if there was a little bit of land left over from on that 114 acres, would Dan Villa like to build a $500,000 house on it that he can't sell? The rest of us are in that position right now. We have property there that we put our life investment into that we are not going to be able to sell for its current value. And so you're just stuck. You're stuck with your property that's not worth what it was a year ago even. So it's a bad situation for us. Would you let your kids, if you did build a house, would Dan Villa let his kids walk to school? Would he let them out to play in his yard? Would he would the kids be able to walk to the swimming pool in Laurel? I don't think so. And also, now for the rest of us that are here, with all the negatives that the state has, we've got to talk about the city. The city gets to do the snow removal on the streets. They get to furnish the water, which we don't have. They get to furnish the sewer, which we don't have the capacity for. They get to do the fire department gets to come out if they need them. The police department gets to come out if they need them. They are people with the search and rescue. If anybody needs help, they need to get out there. This is all on the city taxpayers. So how much is this going to cost the city to live with this? I'm against it, and I hope everybody else is against it, and I hope it doesn't happen. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Sheet.
And I'll bring her up.
Okay.
Shelley is next though, if you want.
Thank you.
Or no, it's just Shelley, sorry.
Let me look at a couple of skips real quick, just to make sure. Brian Lubinski, I think you said he went to work. Mike Boilo. Yeah. Not maybe those, otherwise just go grab that one, next one, and we'll keep going. Yep, absolutely. 4 o'clock will happen. I'm going to stop the recording for a second, just to, again, get small file sizes to make later upload a little easier.